When I was 20, so my memory is a little foggy. This is my best friend's second ex-boyfriend story. This one doesn't affect me as much as it affected her. However, I was there for the whole ordeal. The last guy was a creep, but this one is a crazy jerk. You see, my friend has a type. Despite her being this beautiful, cheerful girl, she loves to find guys that want her to do everything for them. They want her to pay for everything and do everything for them, periodically paying for groceries to make it even. Now, I have no issue with her dating a guy down on his luck, working hard to get on his feet. We have almost all been there. It's fine. But some just have to start from the ground up, and that is fine. But this guy wasn't like that. We were talking about him being a male gold digger. This guy had no intention of bettering himself or his position. He was a user and abuser, and I could tell the second I met him. When I walked into her apartment and saw this guy sitting on the couch, my heart fell. He gave me bad vibes, worse than the last. I'm not going to describe him, because, quite honestly, his looks have nothing to do with how terrible of a human being he was. I did not like him, but I played nice because I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt. I thought, maybe I'm being too judgmental. It's not fair of me to judge him when we have just met. Well, it turns out my gut was right, though. Fast forward a few months, and I had moved 8 hours away to a new school for university. My friend, Emmy, and her family went to a nearby city, 2-hour drive away from me, to visit her sister. So I met them there and stayed a night. We met up and went to lunch. And while there, she started to tell me about the jerk she was dating. I had known that he moved in with her and would borrow her car. So that was no surprise to me. What was the surprise to me was she actually wanted to dump him. She was telling me how he had become increasingly more territorial, always checking her phone and wanting to know where she was. He was becoming verbally and physically abusive when she wouldn't comply. Initially, she was just thinking about dumping him, but I quickly started jumping on, encouraging her to do it. I was worried about her safety and mental health living with someone like him, especially since it sounded like his angry outbursts were getting more frequent. She seemed to become more determined and said that she planned to break up with him when she got home. I told her she needed to take someone like her dad with her so he doesn't try to hurt her. She dismissed me, saying that he wouldn't, and I warned her, guys like this are unstable. He's going to do one of 3 things: verbally attack you, physically attack you, or threaten suicide if you try to leave him, or maybe even all 3 if he is crazy enough. She laughed me off, and that was the end of the conversation. We went on with the day shopping, going to dinner, then watching a movie. We slept together on the pull-out couch, and it was a pretty laid-back night. At 7 a.m., I was awoken to her crying on the phone. I didn't move at first, listening to what was happening. She was pacing on the other side of the room, crying and begging him to stop. He was calling her all kinds of names, accusing her of cheating on him. He was screaming so loudly I could hear him. "You are such a fucking slut. If you gave me an STD, I am going to fucking kill you and your whole goddamn family." She was sobbing the whole time. "I am going to fucking throw your car keys off a goddamn bridge and burn your car, you stupid fucking slut." I honestly couldn't believe what I was hearing. I still don't believe it. My memory is usually shit, but I clearly remember that. I got up and took the phone from her, doing something I probably should not have done. I was so blinded by anger, but thankfully it didn't have any repercussions, and started screaming at him. I fucking dare you to burn her car. Touch it and you're going to jail. I'm a fucking witness now. Try it. I hung up the phone and threw it on the bed, asking her what the fuck had just happened. Apparently, since she didn't answer his phone call at 4 a.m., he assumed she was cheating on him at 4 a.m. He kept calling back. One of the times I answered and told him to stop, or I'd call the police for harassment. When he kept going on, I really didn't know what to do. She was a mess, and I was just too angry to think. I went into her parents' room and woke her mom up. I told her mom what had happened, and while doing that, her dad woke up immediately furious. Her dad stepped in, answering the phone and threatening to call the car in stolen, since it's his name on the car, not my friend's. He demanded that the crazy boyfriend leave the apartment and leave the car there. After that, I had to go home. On the way, I called her, and she told me he was texting her, saying that he was going to kill himself if she left him. She was starting to feel guilty, scared he would do it. This is bad, but the cold part of me told her to call his dad and tell him it's his family's problem, not hers. They need to help him if he is having mental distress. It's not her fault. Unfortunately, they dated another 5 months after this. What got them to break up, not the abuse, not the crazy shit, not the fact that he had a warrant out for his arrest in Florida for a traffic violation, or so I was told, or the fact that he had relations with a minor. Not the fact that he had a crazy ex-girlfriend who went to my friend's city threatening to find her and fight her for him. Not the fact that he would shoplift hundreds of dollars worth of things from Walmart. Nope. They broke up because he ended up going to jail. I don't fully remember why. Pretty sure it was for shoplifting. I could ask her, but I don't like to bring him up anymore. It's been a year or two now, and she is raising his dog that he had gotten as a puppy before being arrested. That worries me, that he may come back someday for his dog, and knowing her, she may go back to him. Pretty sure he hated me, or still hates me because I threatened to call the cops on him, and I still will if need be. I'm not sure where he is now, if he is still in jail or what. Not even sure what state he is in. No matter where he is, I hope he stays the hell away from my friend. Crazy jerk, let's not meet again. When I was about 11 years old, my parents left me in the care of my grandmother and my aunt. I had never had any freedom with my parents, even though I was very young. They didn't let me have play dates with my friends. When they left, I had a lot more freedom. A couple of years passed. When I was around 16 years old, I started talking to this boy. Even though I had a lot more freedom, I wasn't allowed to have a boyfriend. His name was Daniel. I met Daniel at a grad party for one of my cousins. He added me on Facebook, and we started talking. I gave him my number, and we talked from morning to night for about a week. This is because I had to go visit my parents. They lived in a different country, and there is no cell phone reception where they live, so I let him know that. He was okay with it. I left for 2 months, and when I came back, we started to talk again. I used to have a bad habit of feeling bad for people, too much empathy. I would always think the best of someone and give them the benefit of the doubt. I had heard many things and just brushed it off as people spreading rumors. To this day, I regret not listening to what those people had to say. Since my grandma was so strict, he snuck into my room through my window a couple of times. He was small enough to fit through it. We only dated for about 2 weeks before I started to notice some red flags. First, I noticed that he was drinking and smoking a lot, to the point to where he wouldn't remember anything the next day. Then he started texting and hanging out with this one girl. I told him that I did not like that, and he didn't really care. I kinda just let it go. Someone had told him that I had cheated on him with someone named Kevin, but it was not true. Something snapped in him and he started calling me like crazy and picked a fight with Kevin. He texted me telling me what had happened, and I broke it off with Daniel. I am a very, very light sleeper. The smallest noise wakes me up. A week later, I woke up around 2 a.m. to the sound of my phone ringing over and over again. I had about 12 messages from the girl that Daniel had been hanging out with. She was trying to pick a fight with me. I was really tired and awoken from a slumber, so I responded back, and I understand, don't fight fire with fire, but I did. I said some really mean things to her because she had, one, woken me up, and two, tried to confront me for things that I did not even do. I put my phone on silent and went back to sleep. I woke up to so many messages from Daniel asking me why I went out of my way to fight with her. I did not respond to it because I was over it, and I just left him on read. This angered him. He continued to call and send me messages, so I blocked him. I thought this was the end of it, but it wasn't. There was a party near my house, and he happened to go. I knew about the party, but I didn't want to go, not because he would be there, but because I was tired and wanted to sleep. Around 1 a.m., I heard something at my window. I heard it slide open. I was terrified and saw a dark figure crawl inside. I kept my phone near me at all times, and I'm thankful for that because I immediately turned on my flashlight and saw that it was Daniel. I then remember that J-Dog had forgotten to lock my window that day. I yelled at him and asked him what the fuck he was doing. He told me he needed to talk to me. I tried to remain calm because he was severely intoxicated. In a hushed voice, I told him to get out because I did not want to speak to him. I was trying not to wake up anyone. I didn't know what to do. He asked if he could just sleep, and I reluctantly agreed, not because I felt bad, but because he was drunk, and I was afraid of what he would do if he were to get mad. I pretended to be asleep, and he tried to wake me up. When I didn't give him any attention, he left, and I locked my window right after. I didn't tell anyone because I was so scared that I'd be in trouble. A couple of weeks passed, and I didn't hear anything from him. I thought that maybe he had moved on. I was over at my aunt's house with my cousins. It was around 11 p.m. and I heard my phone ring. I thought it was my grandma calling to make sure that I was okay, but it was a random unknown number. I did not pick it up because my cousins and I were playing a game. A couple of seconds later it rang again, and it was the same number. I did not answer. This happened 2 more times before I finally picked up. "Where are you?" I heard the voice say, and I quickly connected it to Daniel's distinct, high-pitched voice. I told him, "It's none of your goddamn business," and I just hung up on him. A few weeks later, I received a message from a random number. He soon told me that he was Daniel. This was the 3rd number he got because I kept blocking him. He told me that he had joined a gang and that he had a gun and a knife. That message terrified me and made my blood run cold. I messaged one of his friends to make sure that someone knew what was going on and to get him to stop. He was very concerned for my safety and put a quick stop to it. Daniel was 5'2" and about 135 pounds. His friend was 6'1" and 190 pounds and could easily overpower him. One day, my cousins and I decided to go to a carnival near my house after we stopped by a birthday party that we had been invited to. I walked in saying hi to everyone. I looked up and I saw him, which made me extremely uncomfortable. I was only there for about 3 minutes. I only wanted to drop off the gift and leave. The next morning, I went over to my aunt's house again and found out that Daniel had gotten so drunk to the point to where he had started screaming and crying my name to everyone. My family had saw it as an innocent thing, but little did they know what was actually going on. I finally decided to tell my aunt about what was going on and tried to file a restraining order against him, but was denied because we did not have sufficient evidence that he was a danger to me or some shit like that. His mom tried to turn it against me and say that it was my fault, that he was obsessed with me and threatened me. I found out that the reason he called me that one day asking me where I was, it was because he had spoken into my room and was looking for me. I'm thankful that my cousins decided to hang out that day, because who knows what he could have done that day. He has tried to pick fights with my boyfriend and female cousins several times. The police don't help either because they think we don't have sufficient evidence to file a restraining order even after all of these incidences. A couple of years passed, and the friend that helped me when I was scared of him texted me just to catch up, and it turns out that Daniel stole his phone to text me. I know this because he told me that he had done that. I could not get away from him either because he lives so close to me. I recently found out that he did the same thing to another girl, and she was able to successfully file a restraining order against him. Things have stopped, and I have avoided every event that he's present at. I don't understand why he got so obsessed. We dated for less than 1 month and didn't do anything significant. So, to my crazy ex-boyfriend, let's not meet again. I would like to make something abundantly clear in the beginning of this. I was very naive in my youth, very naive. While my ex was emotionally, sexually, and mentally abusive, he was smart enough to never lay a hand on me physically. He used gaslighting, manipulation, and carefully hidden sadism to control me for 8 years. I forgave him for every slight against me, every instance of cruelty, every mental assault, and every sexual attack. I forgave him because I thought he loved me, and that I was his property because we had been together for so long and I wore his promise ring. In my mind, I was dealing with actions that would eventually go away with age. I was 17 when I finally got the courage to leave him, and since then, he's left me messages on Facebook, my phone, my email, and called from texting apps to be a breather. It's always the same message he leaves. I'm still here. Every month, like clockwork, same thing, same day, same message. He has done this for 6 years, and I could do nothing about it. He wasn't breaking any laws, so I couldn't report him, and nobody cared about it anyway, so I blocked each account and continued with my life. But 2 months ago, the messages stopped completely, and I know why. I got engaged to another man the same day he messaged me for the last time, and I posted it on Facebook, and magically the messages stopped. He stopped because I'm going to marry someone else, and in his mind, I am no longer his property. This is the only thing that makes sense to me. He believes that I belong to this new man and not him, but I have the feeling I have not seen the last of him. So, to my ex-boyfriend of 8 years, let's not meet again. If you are new, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe to my channel, as it really helps me out. And if you are already subscribed, welcome back and thank you for subscribing.